Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today I have Tag, whose full name is Taggart Downare. Did I say it right?
That's right.
He's the founder and inventor of Rollga, the revolutionary tool that's changing the way we move, recover, and train. Tag, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you for having me, Al.
Yeah, I wanted to tell the audience a little bit about what I know of Rollga. So, at my very first ever conference, I met your team and saw your funny looking product for the very first time in my life. I was like,
Yeah.
what is this and why is it shaped like this? And at the end of that show, I ended up coming home with a Rollga, and it's actually down in my gym in my house, my home gym. And all these years, I have been like wanting to learn how to use it. So I'm genuinely outside of this podcast episode, I am genuinely so excited to get to know you better, to learn more about this funky product, and to learn how to use it myself personally. And on that point, I've noticed some of my favorite colleagues in the industry, like Siri, who listens to every single one of these episodes. I've
Okay.
noticed some of my favorite friends and colleagues in the industry are very involved with your company and fit bodies and all those things. So thank you for being here. I thought I would actually read your bio because
Okay.
I love your bio. I especially love the testimony at the end. So, for our audience out there, Taggart Downare, who we're calling Tag, and he's gonna call me L. We're getting real. We're getting casual.
Right.
The physicist, mathematician, research scientist, entrepreneur, and inventor who has always been driven by a deep curiosity about the world around him. He founded Rollga, a company known for innovative foam rollers that improve movement and recovery, and has also started several ventures in real estate development and business consulting. His love for problem solving began during his studies in physics and mathematics, where he discovered the joy of finding elegant solutions for tough challenges. This passion has guided his research and led to multiple breakthroughs, while his practical approach has helped transform fresh ideas into a successful businesses. Yet, above all, I love this part. Taggart values family and faith. He has been married to his wife Tammy for over 40 years. Woo woo. And together they have raised four children, whom he calls beautifully perfect. Taggart credits his faith in God for every blessing in his life, believing that true success comes from gratitude, humility, and a desire to serve others. I love that testimony. I too believe every good thing in my life is from the Lord. So congratulations on now 8 years with Rolga.
Yes, that's right. You,
All right.
yeah, I'm tearing up just hearing it.
Oh, seriously, it's beautiful. I don't know
Yeah.
how you could have been married that long. You look like
Yeah.
yeah, you look young.
I
Um,
got married when I was 16 and my wife was 18. And so we had our first daughter when we were 16 and 18.
no
And
way.
we waited 18 years and now we had three more. So
Oh
we
my
we got
goodness.
busy with life and business and working and all this, and then life kind of got away from us. We were like, well, are we going to have more? We always talked about it. And then we decided to have two more, and then we ended up with three more. And so we were
Wow. And
extremely
so there's
blessed.
this a big age gap between your oldest and the
Yeah. 18 years.
seniors. Wow. Oh my goodness. So your oldest is older than you were when you had
Yeah.
that's crazy. So give us a little snapshot of your career. I know I read your bio, but tell us a little bit more about yourself and like how you got into this whole Rolga thing.
Yeah, I've just always been like a real health and fitness wellness person. Like I like biohacking. I like the human body, the way that it functions. And just I've studied that a lot from a like a physics perspective
Hmm.
more than even anatomy. And like with physics is a lot about energy. And so I like energy a lot. I look at the body in energy terms versus like almost physical terms.
Hmm.
And so it just changes, how I view and how, like, even with the Rolga, how it, came to be.
So, again, for the audience's benefit, I guess I should add that we are going to be talking about group fitness today and how Rollga transforms group fitness. So, this is on topic and right up everyone's alley. So, is it because you're this physicist and looking at things and problem solving and you have this like critical thinking mind? Were you like looking at foam rollers and being and thinking like they're shaped wrong? Like what? Like
Yeah.
I guess, and for the those of the listeners who are not watching on YouTube, which is most of them, not watching, the Rolga is shaped like how do we describe how it's shaped?
It's curvy.
It's curvy. It's curvy. It was definitely a curvy girl.
So it has all these little curves everywhere, and then the ends are round. And all of those have a very specific purpose
Mhm.
for really specific points on the body. And so, I mean, with the Rollga, I had started doing marathons and triathlons in my late 30s to just stay in shape to actually do a marathon was the bucket list goal.
Uh-huh.
And through that process, I found foam rolling, and it really helped my low back. I had a lot of injuries from a car accident I had in my early 20s. But when I was doing marathon training, putting in all of those miles and all of that, I developed shin splints.
Okay.
And so I was familiar with foam rolling and I had used it on my back and my glutes and things like that, but really helped my shins to roll like the outside edge, the anterior tibialis,
Yeah.
and to release that. But to do it on a flat foam roller, you got to get in like a figure four and kind of awkward. And it takes a long time to roll out your shins, to release them, to stop that tension from pulling on the tibia there. And so it just my natural thing. I'm like to be very efficient and conscious of my time.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, if the initial concept was I just cut two grooves in a flat foam roller to hold my shins, and I could roll both of them at the same time in these outer grooves. So my shins would fit in here and
Okay.
just release that anterior tibialis, and it would do it in like 2 minutes
Oh
versus
my
10 minutes.
goodness.
So it was really about efficiency for me, like time,
Yeah.
because, when I get bored, a lot of times, like with foam rolling, it can become kind of boring,
Yeah.
And so just trying to figure out that efficient way to do it. And so initially it was those two outside divots for my shins that started it. And then I was like, well, with my physics brain, I started looking at body anatomy
Mhm.
and how the spine is aligned and how your erector muscles run along your spine. I was like, well, you don't want to put pressure
Yeah.
like right on the spine. And so then I cut this groove in and started prototyping it. At the time, I was helping launch some regenerative medicine clinics. And so I had a really large network of physical therapists and doctors, orthopedic doctors. And so we were looking at this and I was giving them the different prototypes
Huh.
and just, seeing what would work. And at the end of the day, I started actually turning these on a lathe and making prototypes out of them and adjusting these depths and then
Wait,
giving them to
turning them
people.
on what? Turning them on what did you call it?
A lathe, the
Okay.
thing that like turns wood spindles like
Oh
for
no, I didn't know. I was unfamiliar with the term. Oh, okay.
yeah, so you can take and you can put like a piece of foam in it and it spins and then you take a knife and you can cut perfect divots in
I
it.
see. Or that
And so I
reminds
have
me of like a potter's wheel if you like put you
yeah, yep,
okay.
but lengthwise.
Yes. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And
Okay.
so then just started testing it, and then, this is the design that kind of spun out. And then through the process, I have patents worldwide on this,
Okay.
not only design patents, but also utility patents. And so because the utility function of these cradles or these grooves, it doesn't only like a flat foam roller, it pushes the fascia more of a pressure in like 2 dimensions.
Yes,
The Rollga, when you put your muscle or your tissue in here, it stretches the fascia in 3 dimensions.
that makes sense.
And so it releases the fascia, it releases muscle knots, it just does a better job faster.
What's the difference between a utility patent and a
So the utility patent covers the function of it. So like this spine groove.
Yes.
My utility patent is like the only patents that, or we supersede any product that has this spine groove. So when you look around now, because we've been around, these patents are like 9, 10 years old, and the the spine groove I actually have a patent on. So any product, like even these the like the yoga wheels or other foam rollers you see
Hmm.
that allow for the spinous processes to drop into here and then
Yeah,
it roll the rectors, that's actually infringing upon my patent.
I see.
And so, it's like that was one of the initial things. And again, patent litigation is a long, complicated process, and I'm not into like suing people. I'm happy that it works and that more people can benefit from it.
I have a rib that, like, one of my floating ribs that every few months bothers me and feels like I'm being stabbed in the side with a knife. And I've taken my Rollga that I have down in the gym and I do lay on it and I just roll that groove that you're talking about. And
Yep.
it literally it literally is what alleviates my symptoms. Like, I've learned now that when that happens, I need to get on the Rollga and roll my spine through that notch you're talking about. And
Yeah.
it's very therapeutic. How how, if someone, like, for the total layperson, let's say, and I pretty much put my own self in this category, someone that doesn't understand or know much about how it all works, like, how does pressure on the fascia, what is the fascia? Like, I mean, I know what fascia is, but what
Yeah.
how does this work physiologically in the body to bring about healing?
Yeah, so what I've discovered, so initially, like a lot of our education back when we launched was really foam roller specific.
Mhm.
So that there was, like Trigger Point, and other companies that had, the flat standard foam rollers. And back then it was more um, like a massage tool, like a self massage tool, and you would just loosen up your muscles, your fascia and all of that without the understanding of what is necessarily happening. And so over the last few years, we've really changed our programming, um, our education,
Mhm.
because what we realize is there's a process called sarcomerogenesis. So it's
Okay.
the lengthening of our sarcomeres.
Okay, I know sarco, I know that prefix. Like, I know what sarcopenia is, loss of muscle.
Okay.
Sarco, so how, what does that word mean in this
So
context?
sarcomerogenesis is actually a lengthening of our sarcomeres. And so like whenever we do like a bicep curl or anything like that, we're putting that load under tension, and
Uh-huh.
then that's creating sarcomere growth, which
Okay.
causes the muscle to like increase in size. And so we can do that same similar process with the Rollga by holding on spots over a minute. And so now a lot of the things that we're doing is not as much. You can do like a Rollga session, before a workout, and that I would equate it to more of like a dynamic stretching session. So where you're doing a little faster rolling, you're loosening up your muscles, you're just getting, your body prepared for the workout.
Mhm.
And it's what benefits the most is after the workout, holding on pressure points. And so, we've developed like these pressure point body maps
Oh, cool.
that are specific to Rollga. And so this is combined like acupressure. So it's combined Eastern therapies
Oh,
with Western medicine.
oh my
And
gosh, I
so
didn't know that.
I've taken, because I'm a scientist, so I took the science of why all this is happening and created this body chart that that of all these different pressure points for different conditions or areas of tension that people experience. Like for instance, your ribs.
Yeah,
And so
okay.
by loosening up the erector muscles along your spine, it can really help that
I,
rib.
huh. So what was your aha moment, like, to create Rolgo? Was it having done that doing the marathon training, and was that kind of what was the spark?
Yeah, I would say so. Just that, because I didn't know where it was going to go with the two cutouts and then the spine groove. But then when that's pattern kind of developed, and then as I was doing this and building different prototypes and actually testing them in, the world, having people try it, what we realize is the depth of these contours, like that one there.
Yes.
Like if I changed it even like an eighth of an inch, it really I initially thought that the Rollgas would have to be different sizes because you look at people, the
Yeah.
body types, and you have big guys, you have, bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Bodybuilders love Rollga,
Huh.
and they're all the same size. I mean, we do have like a travel version, so the point it's
Okay.
just smaller.
Okay.
So like that, but in general, these dimensions, if you change them ever so slightly, it
Whoa.
just doesn't function or work the same. And then in my research of like when I was developing this, looking at anatomy, looking at the bones and how the bone structure is really not that different to reach all of these different pressure points.
Interesting. Okay. And so then how did it evolve like beyond just being foam rolling? How
Yeah,
did
just I have so many like ideas
it
that I mean, I could make a bunch more products, but it's still the implementation that's always been a bit of a challenge, because it's like there's great ideas. Like we have one that I've been working on for like 2 years is the Rollga Ohm. So it's a
Oh,
vibrational sound therapy. And so it has a speaker in it. And so it's like vibration is can be good, but it also like desensitizes the nervous system, which then you can't really tell, where your muscle knots are, where areas of tension are that need to be released. So I
oh,
don't really care for vibrating rollers so much. I mean, we have like the percussion massagers and things like that too, because there is benefit to those. But the ohm is a vibration, and so it uses more frequency and low level frequencies to propagate and go into the body and to heal in a different way than
interesting.
just the physical aspects of it.
That's so interesting. And then you have products for hands and stuff like that, feet, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we have all kinds of, the little like activator, massage ball. A funny story with the little micros. These are
Yeah.
the little hand and foot
Yeah.
things. So they're tiny. And initially they were just like a little tiny keychain that we gave out at trade shows. So they were like, 2 inches long. And we
Yeah.
just, here you go. Here's a little keychain to have a little Rollga.
Oh, yeah.
But then I was
If
like,
people started using them, they started
yeah.
using their keychain.
Yep. And then so then I just started playing with dimensions
Yes.
and this 4 inch, little Rollga for hand and feet, and then you can use this little ball end again to pressure point, different tight spots. And this is probably, I mean, it's our second bestseller.
Really?
Yeah, and it initially started as like a promotional item. So it's almost that serendipity, discoveries by accident.
Yes, yes. Well, guess
Yeah.
what? To my audience, many of them know that I'm having my own fitness conference. We're doing a warrior conference here in Eugene, Oregon, June 6th, 7th, and 8th. And Rollga has actually provided those minis for our welcome bag. We're gonna have the best welcome bags that anyone's ever had at a conference ever. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be using your loops. I made
Yep.
a purchase so that we're gonna be repping you guys big time. So,
That's awesome.
okay, why should group fitness instructors care, and how could they like how does it how could this affect how could a group fitness instructor utilize these products? And I believe I saw on your website you have an education course or two or three. So
Yep.
talk to like this audience about how and why that.
Yeah, so our different education courses, we sell a lot to consumers, to the main consumer market. And so we have education that's really basic that goes through the different pressure points, the different moves of Rollga, from a, stand just somebody that sees it that might have some back pain or wants to recover from marathons, triathlons, and that. So we have that type of education. Then we have the more in-depth things where we go into the science behind it, with the sarcomatogenesis and why that is, why it works. And then also, a lot of the research and the stuff behind the pressure points and how, those areas of tension. I mean, we don't use like acupressure or say meridians or things like that. But there are fascial lines, there are areas of energy within our body
Oh,
that definitely help to massage to release.
hmm.
And so, we have that. And then we also have our group fitness course where, we help to group fitness instructors to develop that routine.
I
And
want to
what's
do
really
that.
been
I want to
rewarding
do that
with it,
course. I,
yeah, is it's like some group fitness instructors use it, at the beginning of say a body pump
mhm.
class or at the end of say a strength and conditioning like a step class or something like that. And then we also have, instructors that use it for a whole class that will use it and um, do a full Rollga routine along with some active poses because you can use it as a prop. So for like yoga stretches, yoga poses,
Oh, almost like a
uh,
block or a
yeah,
back or a
it
bolster
works as
or
a
like,
block.
yeah.
And so it's so versatile in the group fitness world that it's just used in such a variety of ways.
Yeah. So would you say most of your customers are fitness professionals, or would you say it's a mixed bag?
It's really mixed. And that was one of the hard or rewarding things is that logo works, it's so rewarding because it works for so many different industries. And so initially, um, I ended up investing about $340,000 that you could say that I lost within the first 3 years because we were everywhere. We were like marketing to runners, we were marketing to this, we were going international. And so we tried to expand and it was just like, when you're marketing to that thin of a thing and then, I lost like 340 grand and I was like, okay, that we got to do something different. And so that's when I pulled back and I said, we're going to just really refocus on just runners. We're just going to do runners and just do that. And then we got that dialed in and started making that profitable for us. And
Okay.
then we transitioned over to yogis and said, okay, yogis can use this as a prop. Let's do this. And so we've just slowly expanded, all of those different areas and made each sector profitable.
That is smart. That's like,
Yeah. But well, it wasn't so smart initially.
yeah, no, but it's that like adage about going deep and niching before going wide.
Yes. It was a huge lesson. That's what I mean is like you could call that hard, but I call it rewarding now because it was rewarding to learn, and a lot of the lessons that I've learned, has really been helpful for my personal growth.
You said something like that before we started recording today when we were just chatting about taking your shifting your mindset when something is hard and challenging.
Yes. Yep. It's
I,
super important, like, because nothing really, like a marathon, you could say it's hard, but a
mhm.
marathon is really rewarding to
Yeah.
complete a marathon, to do a marathon, to train for it. And so when you make that mind shift, it changes everything.
I literally just heard, I wish I could remember where I heard this because it just like penetrated my whole body. It was like they said, um, you decide what you think. Like we can decide what we think. So you can think, we can decide something is a huge loss, a
Yeah.
devastating loss, um, a financial disaster, or we can decide it was a movement towards success or something so fulfilling. Like we decide how we think. We decide,
Yeah.
decide how we think in this world, you know?
Yeah, and that's, like, I mean, we were probably getting off topic of group fitness a little bit, but it is like like having such a great product, like initially out of the gate, everybody was very excited. And because it worked so well, we knew it worked better. We knew it worked different. And we just thought, this was just like a golden ticket, right? And then, when you actually start implementing and doing it, it's just like, things don't work the way that you think. And many people would have like probably given up on Rollga, after losing, over $250,000. They'd be like, okay, this isn't working out. And so for me, I just, you look at the reviews that we have, on Amazon, we have thousands of reviews. They're 4+ star. So it's just like I knew that we had something. It's just you had to like strategize and really develop a better game plan
Yeah.
to, bring it to the world.
Earlier in our conversation, you said something about working with medical clinics or physical therapist office or something like regenerative. What was that part of the story?
Yeah, so if you're familiar with like PRP or prolotherapy, stem cells,
Yeah.
was that those types of clinics?
Wow.
Yeah.
How did you get that gig? I mean, how?
A, a doctor friend of mine,
Okay.
and I have pretty substantial like real estate and business background,
Okay.
and so I've done restaurants. I mean, I've done such a variety of businesses that I just have a lot of business information in my head.
It must have been super validating to have that demographic, though, of professionals saying this product works. We want this product. I like that. That has
Yeah.
to have been. And then did they give feedback in terms of the design, like the depth of those notches and all that stuff? Were they giving you feedback or was that all you?
It was pretty much mostly the Rollga. It's interesting because it like the edges here are exactly the shape of my thumb.
Oh yeah, I
And
see
so
that.
when I catted this out, I made it exactly that shape because a thumb, like when a massage therapist, I thought of the Rollga as a lot like getting a massage.
Oh, I love
So,
that.
so this bump right here
Yes.
is your forearm, your elbow.
Oh my
So, so,
goodness.
so that's why this works so well, is it's mimicked after my own body.
I also like that you said it's an efficiency of time because I do think that is a barrier for people, myself included. Like boredom, is, if it can cut the time in half, like that's a
Hmm.
selling point too. Now, I just got some new ones. I just loaded up on Rollgas. I saw you have a mint one. See my mint colored top right here.
Yes.
That's our logo color. That's our brand color. I saw you had a mint Rollga. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care how like firm it is. I just want that color.
Yeah.
And then
And
what?
it's a beautiful color.
Yes,
Like,
that's my color. So
yeah.
as soon as I like take the course and start using it, I want to start doing some work in my online gym with it with people for like a recovery day. But anyway, I you
And getting back to one other question that you had is, what professionals use it? And I mean, we have chiropractors, we have thousands of chiropractic clinics that sell it, that are wholesale. And because we do sell a lot on Amazon and direct to consumer, but I really prefer selling through professionals, through chiropractors, through fitness centers, through yoga studios, because then, like you said, we market Rollga as a foam roller or the Rollga roller as a foam roller, but it really works substantially different. And
Mhm.
so the education, there'll be people that will get one and they'll try it and they'll be like, well, I don't like it. I like my flat foam roller better. And they'll email and they'll be like our customer service and be like, want to return it.
Because they don't
And
know how
then,
to use it.
yeah, they just don't know how to
Right.
use it. And so then we'll jump on a quick, Zoom call or
Yes.
something like that and show them. And, our return rate is like 0.0001%. It is very, very low. And generally, it's just because we have the pro model that's a black one and it's just super hard, like it doesn't have any give. And so
Okay.
a lot of people think, oh, I'm a pro, I'm a
Ah,
professional runner, but they don't realize how deep that the pro model goes because we have a soft one and then a medium and then the hard one.
okay.
A lot of people will just start with the wrong density.
I see. So,
So
I think also you told me via email, because we were chatting about my order, that the soft one, tell me if I'm misspeaking, that I need to give it a couple weeks, like it will soften up. Is that true?
yeah.
Or some,
Yep, we can only make them so soft without it actually failing. So where those contours are at, they'll break
yeah,
if it's too soft.
I see.
But we created a type of bead, a foam bead, and then all of our products are 100% recyclable,
Mm,
biodegradable. They're a clean bead, so they've all been tested, and so we can import into Germany that has really strict environmental regulations. Our packaging is very minimal, and so we try to, even though I would like to make it out of, say, bamboo or cork or something like that, it's, I sourced our product, very environmentally friendly as well.
mm. Is there anything before, because I have questions about like how we can how a yoga studio might be able to supply Rollgas in their space, or how a gym, or I have questions of how the consumer, do we shop on Amazon, do we go to the website? I have questions about like how do we get our hands on your products, how can we, if we want to start adding Rollga into our classes, how do we find that education, and what does it cost and all that stuff. Before I get to that, is there anything else you wanted to cover that we didn't, just regarding like the use of, or anything else you wanted to tell us about? I know
I
we
think so. The one thing is that people don't realize is the ball end.
oh
The ball
yeah.
end is just really something, you can put it on a wall, you can put it on the floor, and you can really release with that ball end
Oh,
really, really well. And you can even, on your like your piriformis, your
uh-huh.
soleus, the ball end is just an amazing
Oh,
part of the Rollga that a lot of people miss. And
oh.
it doesn't stand up, which, it's like, oh, it's kind of a bummer it doesn't stand up. But because it doesn't, you can, it can manipulate in different ways.
Now, what about that travel one that you held up that was a little
Yeah.
smaller with the pointy end? Does the pointy end have a purpose?
Yeah, and it's just more, again, for
And
those pressure points that we developed, it really targets those, and then it can reach really deep pressure points.
okay.
Because, the body, it's not just our superficial fascia or, our first layer of muscles. I mean, there's layer after layer of muscle. And
Mhm.
so we're trying to not only get those top layers, but the deeper layers. And so with some of the tools, it helps to do that.
So okay, I'll tell you, I'm pretty much like chronically overtrained. I mean, I teach too much, I don't rest enough. I'm not proud of it. I really truly, like really truly struggle with overtraining. And how often, frequently should someone be taking care of their own body? Like twice a week, every day, once a week? What do you think?
I
For
mean, I do it every day, and I'll use like the Pro model in the morning for like a half an hour.
okay.
And that's a little bit more of like a faster, just like refreshing, get my body moving, get the blood flow, to all the parts of my body. So that one, I'll do every day. And then like at night, I'll take like the white one, the really soft Rolga, and do like more of a soothing massage. So
Mm,
it's kind of like deep tissue to soothing. And so the soothing massage is more of like I'm trying to find like stuck energy
yeah.
and places where my body feels like I need to release. So even if you're watching a movie or, taking a half hour, hour before bed, and just go really slow,
Oh,
focus on
nice.
pressure points, focus on stuck energy. And like that, I'll do like 3 times a week. But
Okay.
that is actually does create the lengthening of the sarcomeres and
Okay.
sarcomerogenesis. When you're doing like more of a fast rolling routine or a loosening up routine, you're not going to actually necessarily increase your flexibility.
Mm,
But the long routine where you're holding pressure points for 1 to 5 minutes,
mm.
that will actually create that lengthening of the sarcomeres, the sarcomerogenesis.
Oh,
And
interesting.
so those types of routines where you are doing them for that long time, is extremely beneficial for your flexibility, your mobility. And then, if you're overtraining, it'll help, to recover from those better.
That are you familiar with yin yoga?
Yes.
It reminds me of just hearing you talk about it reminds me of yin.
That's exactly what is like when you do a really slow it helps you sleep better.
Yeah.
When I do those routines, when I wake up the next morning, how you wake up and you get out of bed and you're kind of stiff.
Yes.
After I do like a longer, nice that type of routine, I wake up and I feel like I'm 20 years old.
Oh my
I
goodness.
mean, but again, this is me, I do it every day and I've done it for 8 years.
Right.
So, but some people that it'll feel good and initially they'll get the Rollga and they'll overdo.
Oh,
And so
okay.
you can definitely overdo. And
Okay.
so it's really taking it slow,
Okay.
listening to your body, doing movements and testing it and then seeing how you feel the next day.
Okay. Okay.
And so, and that was another thing that maybe not a mistake, but a rewarding experience is learning
We decide
that,
how we think.
yeah, that I thought I could develop like a education thing that would work for everybody.
Mhm.
But every body is so different, and where you have areas of tension, I don't have a rib like yours, right?
Right.
So you need to develop and to experiment and to grow with Rolga in your own way. But
I
as long as you have the foundation, the fundamentals, then it's good. So it's really hard to create a program and a complete system that works for everybody because every body is so different.
but there are some through lines. I mean, there are some like the
Yeah.
trigger point. I don't know if you called it that, but that thing you held up with the um not meridians, the trick. What did you call it?
Yeah,
The
the pressure points.
pressure points. Yeah, that like that's going to be the same on everybody.
Yes. Yep.
Hmm.
And even those pressure points are connections where say a ligament connects to the bone or are slightly different.
Hmm.
So so there's a point on our shin that's called the point of 100 diseases in Eastern medicine.
Oh,
And it's where a lot of the energy lines run through this point.
huh.
And so it's a point that it's a longevity point that helps just your whole body to feel better, to release, negative energy, negative tension. And that point is close to the same on everybody, but everybody finds it slightly differently.
Okay. Interesting. Uh,
So,
so, okay. So let's say someone is interested in purchasing. Do they go to the website, Rollga.com, two L's?
yeah. Yep, that is the best place. I mean, we have it, other places, pretty much all the platforms,
Uh-huh.
TikTok shop to, Facebook to Amazon. But our website is probably the best place and probably the most affordable place unless we're doing some kind of special sale somewhere.
Okay. And I don't I did look at your website a few times. But what about if they want to buy like bulk, like they want to buy, 30 of them for their studio, go through the
Yeah.
website?
Yes, and they just, fill out the contact us form,
Okay.
and
Okay.
then somebody will be in touch with them to, either we can offer, a bundle like a discount that way, or like a lot of people set up as a wholesaler where they want to resell them in their
Yeah.
studios.
Yeah.
Or we also have affiliate programs. So if
Yeah.
it's just an individual trainer that loves Rolga that
Yeah.
wants to refer her clients to it, then
Yeah.
she or he can make a commission off of those sales.
Okay. Well, I want to talk to you about that because the Warriors
Yes.
are gonna fall in love. The Warriors are
Yep.
gonna want some Rolgas. So maybe there will be a Warrior discount in the future, people. Um,
Yes.
okay, so let's see. And then one more thing, the education piece. So I really do want to get the education. So you have it looked like a level one. Like, is there a couple courses?
Yeah, there is. There's the basic, like I would call it like a workshop, just the
Okay.
foundations of what Rolga is, what the Rolga roller, how it works.
We can do that online.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And all of those, it's underneath our education tab. You just go to them, and then there's a like, I mean, we've kind of rebranded and we're changing the name of that because we are redoing all of our education.
Mhm.
And but we have a group fitness specific education that helps you to implement a Rollga class into your studio.
Great.
So
Perfect.
lots of options.
Okay, well, this show is Confessions of a Group X instructor. So
Yeah.
it's expected that the guests have a little confession. Did you think about that? Did you have anything?
I did. I was trying to think of something. I think the only thing that I can think of is like I also do like I work out on the Rollga, so you
Mhm.
can do all kinds of like plank moves. And one
Oh,
move is you put the Rollga on your shins and you do like a push up, and then you do a inverse crunch.
oh,
So
cool.
you push up and you crunch, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's a really, and this was probably 5, 6 years ago. I thought that's will be really a good workout, right? And I thought I'm going to try to do 100 of these, these crunches with rolling my shins
Uh-huh.
and doing 100 shin rolls all at one time when you're not used to it. The next day was I could hardly walk. So I
Oh,
overdid it.
that's hysterical.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of rolling that, doing it with we didn't really talk that much about that today. How it can be, I mean, we talked about it being a prop but yeah, I do notice like, I have seen like Siri and others using
Yeah.
them like as
And, and
part of the
and
workout.
Yeah, and even like just as far as like, physical therapy type things go, like I had a rotator cuff problem about 3 years ago. So I
Yeah.
started researching that and how to incorporate the Rollga for that.
Yeah.
And just as simple as holding it out in front of you and doing like circles,
Oh yeah.
rotating your wrist this way and doing circles and backward and forward and up and
Yeah.
getting full range of motion while doing those circles, it completely like cured my rotator cuff.
Wow. Um,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of moves that I do in Warrior Rhythm. That's our yoga inspired program where we actually use a yoga block as a prop and like maybe we're passing it around, bicycling it and weaving it around our legs or around our back or doing a sit up with it
Yeah.
overhead. There's a lot of things I already do with a yoga block that I could do with a Rollga, I'm sure.
Yeah, and what's really nice is because of the dimensions here, you can hang on to it
Oh
well,
yeah.
even if you have, smaller hands or that. And just even doing like a stretch of pulling out on grabbing the contours and pulling it
Yeah.
apart works different muscles in your shoulder complex
It
versus taking it from the ends and pushing it together.
I mean, you can tell by looking at a Rollga that it's like an ergonomic device. Like like how they even make barbells that have curves in them now, and different mouse pads for people's wrists to sit in a neutral position. Like it just obviously has the appearance of something that was designed to be ergonomic
Yeah.
and smart.
Yeah,
Genius, really.
it just does. It just works so well for so many different things. And then that it goes back to that thing of, how do we still focus on specific audiences, to make those, profitable for us.
It's really amazing. Like I'm very impressed by your mind that you thought of this piece of technology that no one had ever thought of before. I mean, it's really
Yeah.
cool. Like this is it's very creative and it's
And
awesome.
it is even to me, I kind of look back at the journey and I'm just really surprised that like there's such a simple thing has really changed the whole industry. I mean, it really every product that I'm seeing coming out is almost like Rolga inspired.
Yeah. Like how the end of it is round, and you were saying you were like showing like you could put it in the wall and push it into your like um chest or something. I was recently going to a chiropractor for the rib and back stuff and tailbone stuff. I'm a mess, and they were trying to show me how I could use a lacrosse ball like kind of on the side of my sacrum,
Yeah.
and I was like looking at the Rollga, like, oh my gosh, I could do it with that, but I couldn't do it with a regular foam roller. I couldn't do what, but I could. It almost like mimics that lacrosse ball shape.
Yeah. And that's the thing is getting the Rollga in the right position. There's certain positions to get in
Hmm.
that, when we meet again, and I'll take you through like a little routine and show
Okay.
you some of the foundational moves or probably, I mean, I call these more like advanced moves,
Okay.
but you can get into the piriformis. It rolls the IT band. A lot of people with
Yeah.
IT band syndrome or tight IT band.
Yeah.
The IT band is a super dense fascial tissue that you're not going to stretch or move. But
No.
what the Rollga does again is the IT band drops into that deeper groove. So the IT band, think of it sitting in here.
Yeah.
It reaches, so right here, then it reaches behind the IT band, the quad muscles,
Yeah.
and then behind the IT band and actually releases the tight, the tension of where people are experiencing the IT band pain. And so like even knee problems from a tight IT band, we can loosen it with Rollga.
It's just smarter because
It
the
it
actual, if it's not sitting in that groove and getting around it in that three-dimensional kind of way, it almost could exacerbate inflammation. Like,
it
you know
it
what I'm
it,
saying?
it does like a lot of times, because there was like when
I
we
mean, you
first
could do
started.
damage. You could almost like, I know that you can. You could do damage,
Yes.
like taking an injury and thinking, oh, I got a flat foam roller and I'm just gonna roll out this injury. I know you can cause trauma there.
Yep. Yeah, and some people like rolling their IT band, it can benefit because if they're tight in a particular area, but most of the time, rolling an IT band with a flat roller is not going to help you.
Mhm. Mhm. And the peer,
You said a word. I need to write it down.
what?
It just smarter.
Yeah.
You might see that in a little marketing campaign.
Okay. I'll take credit. Um, yeah. And the piriformis, to those listening, that's I call that the pain in the butt muscle. That's the pain
Yeah.
in the butt muscle. So,
And the Rolga is truly it's amazing for that. But we do have they're called myodots.
oh yeah.
So they come in a pack of two, and this also
Oh.
just works amazing for the piriformis,
Oh yeah.
for the soleus. And
Okay.
what's nice with these is because, like I was saying, with the sarcomerogenesis of having to hold these points longer to actually create lasting change,
Mhm.
you can use these like in bed. Like you put
Oh,
them,
wow.
and you just lay on it while if you're, reading a book or whatever, because
Oh,
you'll hold
wow.
a point for, a couple minutes.
Wow.
And so you can use these, anywhere in a chair. They're just very practical. So
I didn't know until this interview that you could use the Rollga and actually increase your flexibility. Like I always thought it was more of a therapeutic, like prehab or rehab tool.
yeah,
But I never really knew that it was something that could um help with mobility and like create, you know.
yeah, we did a sampling of it was 150 students
Mhm.
on a reach test, and we compared a flat foam roller to the Rolga. And the Rolga with just that limited data sample
Yeah.
um, was a flat roller what provided like a 12% increase in that reach test. The
Mhm.
Rolga provided 22%.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's because, again, of those contours. It's not just a two-dimensional mashing of the tissue, it's an actual stretching of the fascia in 3 dimensions
Ugh,
is the theory behind of why that it just works better.
that's brilliant. Okay, so on Instagram, is it, I mean, I know I follow it, but is it Rolga or is it Rolga Health? What is it
It's
on?
Rollga Health, but
Okay.
most of our accounts are Rollga Health.
Okay.
And it kind of started that way actually from Instagram
Okay.
because somebody over in China or somewhere, but he has Rollga.
Okay.
Tried for like 2 years to get that Instagram account, and I just had, it doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's non-functioning, but I can't get Instagram to like free it up to give it to us.
Dude, I feel your pain. I have the Warrior Strength, like someone has a Warrior Strength account and I have the trademark. Like it's like and I tried I you had to I tried to fight not fight Instagram, but I tried to get them to
Yeah.
give it to me, and they even asked me to submit my trademark stuff, and I did,
Yep.
and it was just I was like, this is too whatever. I'm just gonna call it Warrior Strength Official and let it go.
Right. Uh-huh.
Gonna let it go.
You got to kind of work around
Yeah.
these things. So,
Well, it was so good to like meet you and
in
thank
there.
you for sharing your product and your education and inspiration with me and my audience. And I'm so excited to work more closely with you and your company. And I'm so grateful for the giveaways for our conference. And you'll be hearing from our team on social media. We're so good.
Awesome.
We'll be posting and tagging you guys a lot. So thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, Elle. It was really a pleasure to meet you and to visit with you. And so I'm looking forward to doing more things with you.
Same. All right. And bye, everybody.
Bye.